This installment of the Simulation and Immersion series deals with collaborative design. Now, I mentioned at the end of the first three that we had finished the steps prior to running the game. But I also said we needed to talk about some concepts. That's what this one is looking at. Collaborative design. Why is it helpful and what is it for in this simulationist stance, both in setting design and in character design? So, collaborative setting and character generation. We mentioned this in the first series of 3 clips. And that series was depicted as being the foundation of what you need to do before play starts. But let's take a look at some of the concepts involved there. I said we would come back to collaboration. This is it. So, collaboration at first. So, when at the setting generation stage, between the first and second campaign pitches, collaboration, I feel, is essential for building a firm foundation to support the entire campaign. Immersion is the goal. This is simulationist immersive gameplay. So immersion is the goal. So players need a strong sense of commitment to exploring and being proactive in the setting. They need to be as active as the NPCs and other GM-controlled elements of the game world. If they're not, then you'll start to have problems of stagnation or confusion or characters feeling lost, players feeling lost. Players need a grip on their nascent group identity in order to shape everything which will follow. By hashing out some things they like about the proposed system and setting and turning those into avenues that they would like to develop or explore and play, they create a backdrop against which character concepts can begin to be highlighted. It starts to be obvious what people will want to play or might be suited to play or like to do differently this time. Working together to do this is more efficient at this stage, to cut down unproductive or unappreciated character concepts or duplications of ideas and weed out the crap that turns into characters like Sam Hate. Okay. When you're at the character generation stage, just before your second pitch, collaboration ensures a stable, known point of reference for the players and plants an early seed of both personal and group investment in the game. Remembering that immersion is the goal, so players need a strong sense of commitment to getting into the perspective of their character. Remember, as I said before, this isn't going to be acting. This is looking at the world, or trying to look at the world, through someone else's eyes. So working together to create an enjoyable group of character concepts in a setting that they have similarly worked together to generate makes all of this easy. That sense of commitment, it makes that easy. Players need as few out-of-game distractions as possible to maintain or to discover immersion. And it's not going to happen right away. Most players will work their way into an immersive stance as they get to know the character and as the character establishes an identity in the game. So you need as few distractions as possible. And some of those distractions are being annoyed by a discordant character concept, or an unsatisfying system element, or general ambivalence about the setting. So by using collaboration, you can work through all of that stuff very quickly, everybody gets on the same page very quickly, and enjoyment begins. Groups develop momentum. So having them work together at building connections and goals, even before there are fully established characters, will help provide a thread of sense, relationship, and purpose in what will otherwise be a very, very big world with very, very many open possibilities and apparent chaos. Plus, you can use the group's own social mechanisms to reduce the likelihood of clashes, concept clashes, character clashes, genre clashes, whatever. Plus, if you're in a simulationist stance, it's entirely possible that somebody's going to die. So if a character dies in play, in many games it can be problematic how to provide a new character for the player who has lost theirs. So if a character dies in play, all of these clearly established ties, connections, and goals that the group has established, and this long thread of purpose that they've built from way back when you first made your initial pitch, it makes it a lot easier to establish where that group would realistically go to find a replacement, or who they would promote, or who they would recruit, or out-and-out hire, to fit in naturally and believably with the other characters. So we don't have that effect of group is adventuring in a dungeon, character dies, and then around the next corner you, lo and behold, there's another adventurer just waiting to join our group. Never liked it, even when I was a kid. Okay. The earlier we establish those kinds of ties and group understandings, the better. Okay. This doesn't mean that bad character concepts or bad ideas won't surface anyway. So what do? You're with your friends, all you want to do is have a good time and play a role-playing game together, and then here you have this clashing or discordant concept presented to you. If you do get a character proposal which doesn't gel with or actively is at odds with the group's stated goal for play, something does need to be done, and it tends to fall on the GM's shoulders. So, you have this bad concept, what can you do? You can allow it to pass without comment. Try it. See if the game will survive. You could get together with the other players and socially engineer alterations to that character and other characters to make it fit. You could send it back for revision, or you could reject it. Few people like having to interfere with character generation, so what I suggest is to ask questions about how that player sees this character fitting into the established setting. The whole group worked on establishing that setting. Ask questions that elicit what the agreed upon setting actually is, and the proposed character's role in the group. They might surprise you, and the stupid feeling you have at that surprise will be an enjoyable one as you come to appreciate their creativity. If not, unless they are intentionally being a tool, or they're just unable to draw the connection, they'll recognize the need for adjustment, revision, or reinvention of the character. Maybe a player will be stubborn or really feel that they have been inspired, and they'll want to send the whole concept of the game back to the drawing board. That's up to you and the rest of the players, right? That's going to come down to balancing the level of interest in what's already in motion versus the potential of creating something better versus never ever getting your game going because it continually being, hey, what if, what if, what if? That I leave to you. The next installment of this series will be on setting a scene.